Hey friends, thanks so much for joining us here on 9 News Plus for a detailed look at your Colorado weather forecast. And by the way, if you're joining us on Facebook, type in some of those comments, questions below, and I'll try and answer some of those questions for you about our windy, our dry, and our warm forecast. I wish I had something different for you, but Mother Nature just doesn't want to get rid of this persistent pattern that we've been locked into for the last couple of weeks. It continues today. Dangerous fire conditions, that's our big story for today, and that's thanks to windy and very warm temperatures for us here along the Front Range and throughout basically the entire state as well. And again, no real relief in sight. We do get some this weekend, but I'll explain a little bit of that here in just a second. It just doesn't look all that substantial or all that helpful for us here along the Front Range, and it'll be accompanied by, you guessed it, more wind. So for today, though, all eyes on today, and that's thanks to red flag warnings, fire weather warnings covering basically all the state. Denver technically not included within that. I would almost just look past that. Treat today like a very dangerous fire weather day because we've got gusty winds, warm temperatures, and a very dry air mass. Those are the kind of three-headed monster we look for in terms of that higher potential for fire danger. Any fire that starts has the potential to spread very quickly. Western Slope, our friends out there, hello to you. Yes, you are under a red flag warning as well, and it's basically all of eastern Colorado within that red flag warning for today as well. So when these are issued or when you hear increased fire danger, here are kind of three quick things to keep in mind about what you should and can do in those instances. One, basically permanently, you should make sure that you are signed up for those emergency alerts. That means going through your phone and just going through the settings tab. Usually, if you go through the settings tab on your phone and you just go through the kind of notifications, normally there's a little, it depends on which kind of phone you got, but there's a little kind of tab to swipe on to make sure they get those emergency alerts. Just make sure that's on in case you are under an evacuation zone. Of course, avoid anything with a spark outdoors. That should be obvious, but unfortunately, not everybody takes that advice or takes that recommendation more than anything, and then have a go kit ready to go in case you are evacuated due to a wildfire. And sometimes, of course, like the Marshall Fire back on December 30th, those fires can spread very quickly in a short period of time. And this is the number one statistic. Remember, over 80% of wildfires are caused by human error. So if we are all cautious, we take those precautions there, again, avoiding anything with a spark outdoors, we can get through these days without any issues. Current temperatures as of a little after 12:30, about 66 for us here in Denver. Look at Lamar already up to 80 degrees. You got a few more degrees to go. Might get close to 90 out there. And then in the mountains, even in Leadville, 10,000 feet, 49 degrees, 63 in Kremling, and 65 up into Steamboat Springs with some rain headed your way tonight. So forecast highs for your day today, near 80 for us in Aurora. So, hey, if we get past the wind and the fire danger, today's a nice day. It's going to be near 80 degrees. It's going to be sunny. But those temperatures, 80 for us in Brighton, 80 Platteville. This is about 15 to close to about 20 degrees above average for this time of year. Normally, we're low to mid-60s for the mid to end part of April, but we are considerably above that. But again, the issue that continues to plague us here is it's not just warm, it's also windy, and that increases the fire danger. Meeker, 49-mile-an-hour wind gusts for friends out there. In Denver, not gusting too bad for us yet, but later on this afternoon, those winds will start to crank. Already looking at some 35-plus mile-an-hour wind gusts for us into some of the higher terrain in the mountains. Those winds will continue to increase as we get later on through the afternoon. Notice some of these gusts starting to get on up into the 25 to 35 mile-an-hour range by the mid part of this afternoon. But then after dark tonight, those winds die back down pretty quickly. So the good news is, yes, we have increased fire danger. Yes, we have more gusty winds today. But once we get to about 7, 8 o'clock or so tonight, those winds really do kind of die back down pretty quickly. So that is the good news here. But again, even tonight, still could see some 20 to 30 mile-an-hour wind gusts at times, especially out along the eastern plains. But by tomorrow morning and by Thursday morning, those winds really much calmer. Now, those winds are thanks to a fast-moving system, and out ahead of it, those winds kind of cranking up. There's that fast-moving system, and it's a weak one. It's mostly staying off to our north, but it'll lead to a little bit of rain and snow for us along and north of I-70. That snow, it's probably not going to be for anybody below 9,000 feet. In fact, Steamboat Springs, about 6,500 feet in elevation. It's going to be probably all rain for you. Again, I think once you get to about 8,000, 9,000 feet, it's mainly rain below that. 9, 10,000 feet or above, it's snow and a slushy 1 to 3 inches of snow at that. That'll impact some of the ski resorts, but for most of us, no big deal. And here in Denver, we stay, unfortunately, high and dry. We won't feel any of the rain or snow from that system. But we do get a weak cold front that drops its way through, and that will drop our temperatures down to about 70 degrees for your day tomorrow. It's still above average, but we are going to be talking about temperatures that will be a little bit colder than today, or cooler than today. So, yes, we are going to be talking about at least some relief in terms of those temperatures. Also, the winds won't be as strong as today. Notice those winds 10 to 20 miles an hour, so kind of more breezy. Today's more windy. I would say tomorrow's a bit more on the breezy side. So we do get at least some relief from the wind for your day tomorrow. And also the fire danger shouldn't be as bad for us tomorrow either. So for tomorrow, by the way, I got my phone out in case you got any questions you want me to answer. 40s, 50s for us into the northern mountains, 60s, 70s off to the south, and then a lot of 60s and low 70s for us for tomorrow, although a few 80s still popping on up into the southeastern plains where that front kind of only side swipes you a little bit into that part of the state. 7-day forecast. Oh, gosh, I wish I had more relief in sight for you here, folks. Trust me, I am sick and tired of this as well, this windy, dry weather. I think I want to point out Friday. Friday looks like real trouble in terms of fire danger. In fact, I'll go ahead and say that I think that Friday could be our worst fire danger day that we've seen so far this year. The winds will be really strong. It's going to be perhaps a little warmer than today, and it's also looking drier than even today. So I think Friday in particular will be a very concerning day in terms of that fire danger for us in and around Colorado. So all week long we're going to be dealing with some form of fire danger, but Friday in particular could be especially bad. By Saturday and Sunday, we do get a chance for a shower, especially Saturday. But the concern with this weekend is the winds will still be there. So unfortunately, we are going to be looking at that increased fire danger likely lasting through the weekend. Now, Amy's asking if we're expecting wind early or later on Friday. And I would say the later you go in the day, the worse the wind will be. So Amy, if you got to move those horses, I would do it more in the morning. The earlier the better in the morning time frame as well, because those winds will kind of really rev on up as we head through the day on Friday, though we still will have some gusts during the morning hours as well. And again, Saturday and Sunday, I do think the wind will be around as well for both days this weekend. Not quite as strong as Fridays, but unfortunately we're dealing with this consistent, dry, and windy and warm, generally speaking, weather pattern, although we do cool back down this weekend. Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin will have more details coming up at 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10. In the meantime, I'm Meteorologist Chris Bianchi. Stay safe and have a great rest of your day.